Okay, some pedal groovy here. We're going to do another league on Bogles, and I'll tell you why. But first, let's get into a quick deck tech as a reminder. So we're built around our slippery Bogle, who is hexproof, can't be the target of spells or ability our opponents control. We have an elf version of that, and we have a slightly harder to block elf version of that. And so we have a bunch of enchantments that we want to put on our Bogle, like this Rancor, but mostly we're really interested in getting pump enchantments like Ethereal Armor here. Counts the number of enchantments we have in play and gives it first strike. And Ancestral Mask counts the number of enchantments on the battlefield and gives it +2/+2 for each of those. So those are most important, and then we have some utility things like um, this can be cast from the graveyard with Escape if it gets countered, or if it gets put there by Malevolent Rumble, which is a spell that can find any permanent and put it into our hand, so that can be used to find a land if we're short on lands, or it can be used to find our pump spells if that's what we would like to have at the moment. But it also gives us an Eldrazi spawn, which is really useful against edict effects. So then we have, also against edict effects, is the Cartouche of Solidarity. In a kind of aggro-ish meta, we have a main board lifelink here, gives our creature lifelink. And then Armadillo Cloak, which gives it a +2/+2 and trample, and the triggered ability to gain life whenever it deals damage, which is markedly different than lifelink. So then we have our lands and enchantments that go on our lands. So we have forest, and we were on 3 plains and 2 sheltering landscape. Now you may notice that sheltering landscape has a cycling cost that includes a red pip, um, and also that we have red cards in our sideboard. So in order to get that, we can either choose red on Utopia Sprawl. So we might end up doing that some post-board games. Usually, game 1 Utopia Sprawl is going to be on white, probably, the first one anyway. But then we also have Abundant Growth, which replaces itself and fixes all of our mana woes. So the reason why I want to run this back is because I want to make a few changes. First of all, I want to go down a plains. I do not like being on 3 plains. I never have. And so what I'm going to do is I am going to put a forest in here that does not look like the other forest, so that if I pull that forest, I can know whether it would have been better being a plains or not. So this is not a full art forest, so when we pull it, we will know. The second thing that I would like to do is bring in another ram through, because I played against the Rakdos Madness deck, and I found out that Gutter Snipe is very, very good, and probably a kill on sight creature. And I was not bringing in ram throughs in that matchup. So I'd like to bring ram throughs in for that. And the thing I'd like to take out is a standard bearer. I like standard bearer, but in the matchups that I was bringing it in, I was also bringing in other things, and it felt like I was bringing in like 5 or 7 cards, which might have been eating into my game plan. So I think I'm okay going down a standard bearer for now. I guess we go over our sideboard real quick in case you haven't heard justifications. But this creature steals the activated abilities of a bunch of our things that our opponent might be playing. Like against elves, it steals the activation of Timberwatch elf, and it steals the Quirion Ranger activation, which can really mess them up. Against the mirror match, it steals all of our enchantments, except for Cartouche Solidarity has to be targeting a creature you control. But all of our others in a mirror match, they will be stolen by this. And it can also be interesting in against High Tide, it messes with their untappers. Against Ghostly Flicker decks, it messes with their stuff. So that's Standard Bearer. Spirit Link is kind of a redundant life gain effect. Um, Again, it's notably the triggered ability and not lifelink itself. Mask of Law and Grace is protection from black and from red. It's really good against sweepers and Jund Wildfire. So here's Pyroblast, counter target spell if it's blue, or destroy target permanent if it's blue. This is a red card, and again we can cast that off of our Abundant Growth or our Utopia Sprawl if we set Utopia Sprawl on red. Flaring Pain is good against fogs, like which notably Moment's Peace and Prismatic Strands. We brought in an extra Ram Through, which is a we call it a bite spell, but this bite spell, if the creature has trample, then it tramples, the damage tramples over to the player. And then the thing I was trying out last league, and I didn't get to try out, so I'm going to still try it out, is Tamiya Safekeeping against Thraben Charm decks, because Thraben Charm is kind of rough. Okay, here we are. We won the die roll again. This doesn't have a creature, and it has a bunch of Armadillo Cloaks, so we're going to mulligan. Alright. Hey, here it is. Look, if this was a Plains, we'd put this hand back. But since it's not a Plains, we're keeping it. Here it is. Keep. Look at that. Put a card on the bottom. Let's put a Bogle on the bottom. Alright, next turn we can Abundant Growth. Okay, Mountain. Okay. Next time we're casting this card. This card's very good against decks that play mountains. Highway Robbery. So I wonder, so this looks like mono red. I think mono red plays that card. Because there's a mono red variant and there's a black red variant. And I guess both could play Gutter Snipe. We might be testing that out too. Alright, let's play this card. Let's resolve this. Make hay while the sun's shining, as we say. Coming in with our Vigilance token that they could have bolted. They did not bolt our token. So when this comes down to one life, we'll know. So we've done our first strike damage. We're on our regular damage here. What? Oh, Moto is resetting. It plays through. I do not know. What that means for us. We may need to reset Moto. Now they're at 31 minutes. We're on the main phase. Okay, we don't need to reset Moto. Gutter Snipe. Alright, well, here we're testing out all of our theories, all in one league. Double lifelink. I like that idea. We're not coming in with our token. There might be a world where we buff our token so that he can come in and they have to choose to block with gutter snipe. But I think we're just going to put ourselves out of range here. Although this card's very good. So, I guess I shouldn't count my eggs. I counted my eggs last round. And look where that got us. We have trample, so I mean I think we're in a good spot in this game. Sideboard, we get to test out our Ram Flu. Sure. Check this out. I guess they could bolt me and blow me out here. Nah. The fun play is to stick it on this. But if they have lightning bolt, then we don't kill them this turn and we give them another turn. If we put this on here, okay, so we don't kill them either way. I mean, and also, I mean, the correct play is to stack stuff on here because they're in mono red and they can't get rid of my enchantments. Okay, I guess I'll do that. We'll gain an absurd amount of life. An absurd amount being 18. We might cycle this someday. I mean, I don't think it matters right now. Okay, they gave up. Okay, so let's try Sentinel's Eyes. Ancestral Mask. Ancestral Mask. Just because we may not ever get the chance to cast that. and we want to keep our armadillo cloaks in. I think we definitely want this. This card, I would bring it in. I'm not sure if mono red is on sweepers or not. I think that black red is in their sideboard. Let's cut one of these. Who told you to go over there? Come back over here. And I want rampers. I want to kill their gutter snipe. What about cartouche? Okay, so they're not in black, so they don't have edicts. We could bring in some law and grace. This is probably, law and grace is probably better than this. Keeps them from chumping, probably. I don't know, let's give it a shot. This is a lot of cards to bring in. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's a lot of cards. I don't know. Maybe I'm too scared of gutter snipe, but we'll see. Land, creature, rancor. Sideboard card that we can't cast right now. They've mulliganed. I'm not a huge fan of this, and we're on the draw. This has 3 lands. I don't love 3 lands. There's not a lot of action here. There's a world where we play our creature, we put Rancor on it, then they do play sweepers, and then we're like real sad. So let's try again. Let's see what we get. Sheltering landscape, forest, creature, spirit link, ram through. I mean, I'm okay with this on a 6. Oh, they're deciding. They haven't landed on their 6 yet. The question is, do we want to play turn 1 Slippery-Bogle? They went to 5. We are keeping this. What are we putting back? I was about to say, are we turn 1 Slippery-Bogle, or are we turn 2 Ledgewalker and getting a Plains on turn 1? And I think we're playing turn 1 Slippery-Bogle, so let's put this one back. That's scary though, because they could still sweep us. And these two do not give a toughness boost. Let's put that back. So I just noticed, because in the chat they said that we're groovy pros. Yeah, we are just grooving here. Groovy Q and some pedal groovy. Mule Tail instant. Ooh, we drew a mask. So what this looks like is, hopefully they tap out after we get our planes, and we can slap this on there, and then we don't have to worry about sweepers anymore. If they don't show us any sweepers in this game, do we take this back out on the play? Wait. No, we won last game. So if we go to game 3, maybe. So what we're gonna do is we are gonna play down this Rancor. So, because if they sweep us, Rancor comes back to our hand, and that's not. Oh, but then they can block. So we're probably not attacking here. But again, if they sweep us, Rancor will come back, and we are okay with that outcome. I mean, we don't want to get swept, but we don't at least don't lose our enchantment. There's a chance that we draw another creature, and then we can put the Rancor back on it. Okay, so we are going to yield to instep. Ooh, yeah, that's a pretty good one too. We might use our ram through on that. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, it deals 1 damage to each opponent. We need a plains. Okay, there's a ram through. But we don't need one. We are big enough to kill that. But they're tapped out. We want to resolve Law and Grace while we can. So now they can't block. They can't kill it with in the festivities or whatever else they want to cast. Used to be Electrickery, but Electrickery is not as common anymore. What are they besides in the festivities? It's no, can't think of it right now. So next turn we can put Spirit Link on it. Unless we draw a land, then we're slapping Armadillo Cloak down. So the cool thing about this is this triggered ability, and we've seen it happen already, but we didn't talk about it. Is that we can have multiple instances of that. So Spirit Link is the same triggered ability, and so we can gain twice as much life. Whereas if we had 2 instances of Life Link, that is a static ability, and we do not gain twice as much life. Fiery Temper. It's a popular card these days. So it has madness. Here it is. So when they discard it, they can pay 1 and cast it. So they discarded it because of the blood token, which we can't see anymore. They're doing 3 to me. Understandable. Coming in for 2. Ooh, we drew the land. So we're playing the Armadillo Cloak. Notably, this is black and not white and green, so that would be a big old nombo. That is the protection. If it was colors that we play, then we wouldn't be able to enchant our own creature. So it's like we planned it that way. Okay. Next turn, we can ram through this guy, which is going to gain us even more life. And we can Spirit Link. Oh, that's going to be nasty. Nasty. We're going to do him so. Assuming we survive this turn, which is, I'm hopeful. We are going to do them dirty. And this is really the strength of the deck, of Bogles, is a lot of people in these Magic Online leagues are playing these mono red decks or red black decks that are aggressive and good. They're good decks. But if I can get my life gain going, they just can't compete. They can't compete with me gaining. I'm gonna gain like 15 life next turn. Like, what are they gonna do about that? their deck is designed to lightning bolt, triggered ability, fiery, yeah, and then just win. So what do they got? They got a lava dart in the graveyard. Okay, so we're doing two more. We're down to 9, and we're gonna gain an absurd amount of life next turn. So we have trample. This is great. So we have trample. We're going to trample over onto their life. We're going to gain life from casting ram through. Then we're going to attack and gain life again. So first we're going to get extra life gain. Yep, they saw the writing on the wall. They didn't even want to see the extra life I was going to gain from ram through. All right, I will see you in the next round. This hand is unkeepable. This hand is unkeepable. On the draw, we have a redraw. I'm gonna try it. It's not good, but we're gonna try it. We need our redraw. We want these 2 lands, 2 cards. How about the expensive one? Or, Sentinel's Eyes. Okay, yeah, this is redundant with that Ethereal Armor, so we'll put that back and we'll put Sentinel's Eyes back. Ponder. Maybe Malevolent Rumble will help us find a creature. So do we want to redraw right now, or do we want to... I think we want to go ahead and Abundant Growth. Because next turn we can cast Utopia Sprawl on an untapped land, and maybe cast Malevolent Rumble if we don't draw a creature. Well, another redraw? Maybe we start suiting this guy up. They seem to be in mono blue, so that's, well, they could have bounce spell. But if we put Sentinel's Eyes and Rancor on it, then both of those things come back to us. Rancor as a triggered ability, and Sentinel's Eyes as a alternate casting cost, so yeah, let's suit up our spawn. Before we do that, let's make sure we're not going to draw a better creature. We did not. Okay, so what we're going to do is green and white. First we're going to have Sentinel's Eyes, because if they counter this, then we can get it back. If they counter Rancor, then we can't get it back. But if they counter Rancor, actually we have a backup Rancor, so it's not the end of the world. Yep, there's your counter spell. Much rather them use it on that than Ethereal Armor. So they played Mental Note, so there's A 5/5 incoming. How many instants and sorcerers do they have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They apparently don't have it. Okay. Let's bait them a little bit. Nope, not this one yet. They might still have another counter spell. Okay, now let's bait them. They let it through. So maybe they don't have the counter spell? That's something that they decided was important. Okay, well, here we are. Okay. There's our 5/5. The party's over. Hey, look, a creature. What you got? Okay, third counter spell. Got it. Okay. So this is pretty much permanent tap down. Good news is that if we draw another creature and stick it, then we can sack this and get our stuff back and go that way. Mm, there's a world where we get a warrior, but they're just gonna keep casting Sleep of the Dead. So yeah, we need to draw a hexproof creature. What did they reveal? Thought Scour. Well, this has not been great. Let's try game 2. Okay, we're definitely bringing in Blast. We're taking out Cartouche. Armadillo Cloak is kind of hard to cast and is likely to get countered. My prepared sideboard plan says Spirit Link, but now I'm wondering. We might be interested in Ram Through instead. No, let's do Spirit Link. Let's stick with the plan. It's basically downgrading these into, we still get the triggered ability, but we don't have to pay for the trample and the pump. So we are playing first. We have a Pyroblast. We have a Utopia Sprawl that can go on red and then a plane. So this is all great for us. Believe me, I have felt the pain of getting my one-drop creature force spiked, but that can't happen if we're on the play. So. Delver. Use all that while they're tapped out. Okay, they're going to stack themselves to transform. Which means that they're not going to have counterspell mana this time. They could have Spell Pierce or Force Spike if they're playing it. Nope, they decided to put down another dude. Which means we're going to get to resolve Spirit Link. We might hold up our red mana to counter. Well, they're not in range to cast a terror yet. I guess we could have used that red mana to destroy a Insectile Apparition, but I'm not actually that worried about Insectile Apparition. One, two, three. They're getting close to having enough instants and sorceries in their graveyard to cast Terror, so we'll probably try to leave our Pyroblast up next turn. A second Spirit Link. Don't mind if I do. These Spirit Links would be very sad without this Ethereal Armor. So on the stack is a really good time to interact with the Tolarian Terror, because then we don't have to pay the ward cost. Okay. Brainstorm's a really good card, but in this list, you are not playing a daggone. What does this say? Second from the top or on the bottom. Are we fighting over that? Yeah, I think we are. We'll make them think we have another one in hand. Maybe. We cannot. Okay, well this is not the end of the world because we get to draw back into it eventually. So they wisely leave something back. Uh, Apparently the first from the top was another ethereal armor. Don't mind if I do. And now we're out of. I don't mind signaling what. Oh, they packed it in. Okay, so that seemed to work for us. So we'll run it back. Here we go. This is not terrible. It's not amazing, but it's not terrible. They've gone down to 6. We get to draw. I think I'm going to roll with it. We get to, again, get to put this on red to at least signal that we have Pyroblast. Ledgewalker's not at its best here because they do have a flyer, but a potential flyer. If for some reason they are able to counter our 1-drop, at least we'll have a backup. Look at that. Oh, Brainstorm. I was about to say. Force Spike incoming. What I was saying before, and I may not have finished my thought, is that they don't have a way to shuffle. So they've Brainstorm locked themselves. The next 2 draws that they get are cards that they've already seen. For what it's worth. It's probably less. Okay, so here, oh, here I am saying they don't have a way to shuffle. Apparently they do. Learn things every day. Because, this card says look at the top 3, put them back in any order, you may shuffle. Even if it didn't say that, it draws you out of your lock a little bit. Forest. Attack. Cast Utopia Sprawl. Okay. That is not terrible for me. I mean, to them, they may think that's my only way of casting Pyroblast, which it is, but they don't know that I do not have a Pyroblast. Currently. Okay, so this is their sideboard card. Counter target enchantment. Okay. If they counter this, then we can cast it again next turn. Probably. We'll find a way. We have to do 2 cards from the graveyard. We could put this card in the graveyard if we needed to. Okay, so we're attacking. Maybe they stack themselves to get the right thing here. Counterspell. Okay, well, known counterspell. We will try our best to bait that out. We're going to play this as a land. We don't have any way to cycle it anytime soon, and we can get 1 more land out. Okay, I don't think they're playing any flash creatures, so let's bring them in. They're also not playing any way to like, sweep the board, so we're gonna play out our creatures. Only thing is we could sandbag them. So let's sandbag this, make them think we maybe have something. We have so many forests that I'm probably going to get a plains off of this. We know they have counterspell, so I'm not inclined to just run this face first into a counterspell. We were probably better served waiting. Hopefully next turn, maybe next turn we can draw something else good, and we can double spell. With the amount of selection that they've been getting, they may just be able to double counter though. But they're not landing big old 5/5s, so that's good for us. Okay, well here's our double spell turn. Which one do we want more? Ethereal Armor or Armadillo Cloak? I think we want Armadillo Cloak more. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. So we can cast Armadillo Cloak. If they have Spell Pierce, we can pay for it. But if we cast Ethereal Armor first, they counter that. And then we try to cast Armadillo Cloak and they Spell Pierce, and we can't pay for it. So let's bait them with this. Which one do we want to put it on, actually? Let's go ahead and put it on the one that adds vigilance. Yep. See if you have another counterspell in here. Okay. This is their 4th brainstorm. Let's see if they shuffle. Declines, I think, means shuffle. Okay, well, party's over there. We can still attack with these things. Unless he leaves that back. Of course, we're not taking damage that way. Okay, well, let's go ahead and play this. So we've got chumps for days. They've got blockers for days. Okay, we need a hot draw. That's not hot. lethal. I think I want to block with this, and then we can cast that out of our graveyard on one of these, and if we get something else on one of those, then maybe we can attack. Like a spirit, not a spirit link. We could go down to 6. We're just in trouble. We're in big trouble. Jeez. I mean, is there anything we're gonna have to block? We're gonna have to block with both our creatures, so we're not gonna have a creature. Yeah, we need to not draw a forest there. Well, that's pretty disappointing. Check me out on Bluesky at Some Pedal Groovy. Hit me up in the comments. Let me know what I could have done better.